Hello, everyone. Welcome to Start Your Dungeons. I'm Adam,
I'm Bryce.
and today we're talking about the Mazes Quickstart. This is ninth level games.
Yeah. The ninth level games, this was the one that we talked about in our free RPG day. One of the ones that I think both of us put high on our list of wanting to try out, and we finally sat down and gave it a roll.
Let's go through the Quickstart. I was actually kind of surprised. So, this one has a very different presentation style than something that you might be used to.
Right.
So, it comes as a sheet. It's like a notepad,
Right.
and you rip off each page. The maps are going to be on the back side.
Right.
The maps. If you're familiar with making, it's kind of the Dyson Logos style maps with the edging. And so you've got that on one side, and as you have that out on the table, you're reading the descriptions of the dungeon on
Right.
the other side. So it tells you what to do as you come across each thing. So this is marketed as a zero prep, kind of no experience needed kind of
Right.
game. So what comes in this quick start?
So you get four characters you can play as. They're really simple. I mean, these are the full character sheets. You have the Storm Wizard, the Monster Hunter, the Tomb Robber, the Savage Bugbear, and so everybody is tied to a die. And the way that Mazes works is everything is called the Resolver. And the way the Resolver works is you use their system
Here.
and you rolling dice. And basically, it's also, again, same on the back of these character sheets. You roll dice to determine what you do. And so a one is always the best. It's what they call a key in this system. So you're trying to roll high or low depending on your dice. There's different checks you can make. You can make a books check, which is like a 2 or 3. Boots, which is like movement based, and agility 3, 4, 5. Blades, which is attacking or defending 4, 5, 6, 7. And bones 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is more of like your strength almost kind of checks and things. But what's really cool about it is some are better than others. Everyone has their own dice. So like the Bugbear has a D10, so he has better at bones and blades potentially, but he might be bad at books. Whereas the Wizard only has a D4, so like they're really only gonna roll like 2 and 3 very often. They're good for book checks. Blades, their problem is they only have a 4. With a 4, 5, 6, or 7, they need to roll a 1 or a 4, and that's it. It's a really cool kind of simplistic system. You get all of the adventures, like he said, for this little run through. It goes through, and basically, like he said, you rip it off, you put the sheet over, and then you just run through it. And as they play, you have the players make checks and just roll their dice and see what they get.
So this is the Polymorph system, I think it's called. It's a really simple system, and as long as you have the resolver sitting there on the table, it's pretty easy. So I mean, as far as how easy is it to get into the game, I don't know if I've ever seen a quick start as easy as this.
We said so. It says on the front of it, zero prep, no experience needed. Yeah,
I didn't read it ahead of time.
Yeah.
I didn't look at anything. So the last time I had even flipped through it was when we did the episode for the free RPG day material. So I literally opened it, started reading, and we started playing the game.
right. And it went fast. Like I grabbed this, I had my sheet, and because there's not really a whole lot to know, it's just your name, who you are, like little things about you, your basic equipment you have on you, and then it's got a chart again for the resolver on the back of your sheet, and you're good to go. Like it was really, really simple and easy to get into. I mean, I can't think of another game that's this simple to jump into as a role playing game and just go. Like we sat down, Adam has kids, like his kids could play this and get it. It's not very difficult.
Yeah. So, I mean, as simple as it is, let's talk about the things we like about it. So, that simplicity could be a great thing.
Right.
It especially when you're dealing with new players and you just want them just to sit down and go. For a free RPG day set, this is perfect.
Right, and it says on it, these are the kind of thing. It shows you a little map tent. It says on the other side, 30-minute introduction to fantasy role playing. Yeah, it took us like 15 minutes, like
Yeah, it
15,
didn't
20
take
minutes
long.
in and out. What I really like about the system is it's one die that you're rolling, so it's not like, oh, I roll a d8 when I hit you for damage. I roll a d6 with this weapon. It's everything is that same die. But what I really like, which is weird to say because I like versatility with characters usually. I actually kind of like how each character is good at something. It very kind of like puts you into a line and says, I am good at these stats rolling usually, which is fine. Like, I actually think that's not a bad thing in this case. And I think it's enjoyable to play a game and be like, my Storm Wizard is really good at book checks and shooting people with his lightning bolts. And like, that's just kind of it. It's simple. It's easy. With this being a character sheet, it has like a full thing that tells you all about like the game. But really, like, if I just give you this and go, hey, these are the target numbers you're trying to hit. If you ever roll a 1, that's an auto success. You roll your d4 and make me this check and see if you got one of these numbers or that. Like, it's hard to say that's difficult. Like, I don't think that's a difficult thing to understand by any means.
I mean, especially with kids, as long as they're old enough to know their numbers, you got it. Like my 5-year-old, like he likes playing, some of these games. He plays Hero Quest with me. We do a simplified version of Descent and Dungeons and Dragons and some of these. He could be able to do this,
right?
No problem because he can count. What about things that we don't like about the system? Does that simplicity is that going to hurt the game?
I don't know. Looking at just this, it looks very simple in terms of what you're good at. It might be a little bit boring to be one-dimensional, maybe a little bit in how your character plays. Again, this is not a full version of the game. It's just a quick start.
Because it has a full core rule book
right.
that you can buy from the website.
But I actually kind of like that it fits your character. It has an old school feel, and it's not really based around this character's like, oh, well, I'm really bad at this one thing. Like, anyone can try anything. It's just with books needing a D3, a 2 or 3 or a 1, and the bugbear rolls a D10, like, he has a lower chance of hitting it, But I do think it's really fun, and like, I think that simplicity is good in this case with the system. I think if it was maybe a system with a little more meat to it, it might be bugged down, but I actually kind of like this simplicity. It reminds me of the die RPG in that, like, every character class in that has a very specific die that is for them. Now, it still uses a D20 based system and all, and like D6s. No, it actually uses D6s, I believe. I've read that book recently, so I'm trying to remember a lot of that, but it's built around like rolling a certain number of successes, then you have your specialty die. And I kind of like that with this because it's also easier for new players to just be like, you are a Storm Wizard, you only roll a d4 and that's it. Like, maybe it's a little boring where you're like, oh man, like I always miss on like my blades check unless I roll a 1 or 4, but it's still like a 50% you're gonna hit. You know what I mean?
I think if you're expecting a game with crunch, this will disappoint you. But if you don't need that, if you just want to sit down at the table and roll dice, this system is probably perfect.
This is probably one of the best systems I've seen to ever run one-shots.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's a great for one-shots.
Yeah, I could bring this up to a store, do one-shots with people, let them keep their character sheets, and just, these are all the free RPG Day ones, and if you got a couple of these, you can keep running it endlessly. Like, it doesn't... It just seems to me like it was very well thought out in terms of how are we going to get people to try this and really not sit down for a long period of time. I actually like that because I feel like a lot of these quick starts sometimes are really nice, but then you're there for 2 or 3 hours and like this is like, nah, you can do this in 20, 30 minutes. I mean, that's, hey, you want to check out free RPG Day? You don't want to sit for 2 hours playing Pathfinder 2e, like, which is fine. Like, I love Pathfinder 2e, but like, if I'm a new player and I don't have a lot of time, this is very much what would be like, look, this game takes 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. I could definitely see this being like a lunch break kind of game. playing with some of my coworkers.
Yeah.
Because I've got a few of my nerd friends at work who I don't get to play role playing games with just because our schedules are too tight. This might be something that we could bring. Like when we're sitting around having lunch,
Yeah.
rolling dice while we're eating, and then go back and
Honestly, I actually, because you roll everything and not the game master. What's it called? This the maze.
Now I've forgotten. Nope, it's not there. It's the maze controller.
Yeah, the maze controller, the MC. I actually think you could solo this.
Oh, sure.
Like 100%.
Absolutely.
Like, it could be something where you create your own little maze and then just roll and like see what you kind of get, sort of situation.
Yeah.
And, I think this is good. We're going maybe too deep into like just the system instead of just the quick start, but like it showed me the potential, and I think the potential is huge for this.
Yeah. So, is this a complete game? I mean, like on one hand, I think you could just keep using these.
Yeah.
I think these you could, like these characters, as long as you're not really worried about constantly leveling up, you could probably just keep using them over and over and just add more treasure.
I actually genuinely think if the rule set is as simple as this is and actually how it is, you could actually get this and then make your own stuff almost.
Yeah.
Like it is very simplistic in how it does things, and that's like a really good thing almost.
The adventure that it has only has 3 encounters. So you have, like 3, so there's there's a hazard that you have to navigate. There's a puzzle that has there's some monsters, and then there's the big bad. So step 1, step 2, step 3, and it's really straightforward. But also the stats blocks. There's only 2 things.
Yeah, you got your health and how much damage they deal if you fail a check.
Yeah, so it was really easy for us to do that, and probably creating your own monsters would be really easy.
Yeah.
So if you weren't going to buy the full book, you could probably just keep making new monsters.
Yeah, like I see the potential here if you're not interested in buying the book, but I mean,
support them, because it's actually a pretty good product. So who is this quick start for?
This is, in my opinion, the best quick start for someone who has never played a role-playing game. 100%.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, it is great for... I actually think that maybe veterans might not like it because of how simple it is. Mm-hmm. But man, if you're looking to get into role-playing games, like, I genuinely think this might be like a knock it out of the park of... You buy 1 set of polyhedrals and you're done. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a whole lot to this.
Yeah.
And like, you could really, we always talk about in our games, like the buy-in, a core book. What do you need? This is a core book and a set of dice, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, if that's amazing value.
Yeah. And I mean, just with this free RPG day, quick start, it gave us enough that I think that we could keep running just this, at least for a little while.
Right. I genuinely think, like, if you have a little bit of a mind to, like, wanting to build your own stuff, it works well. I think this is also a really great one-shot. Mm-hmm. Like, I genuinely think the quick start is really good, but this game has potential for one-shotting, or if, like you said, you're on your lunch break and you're like, man, I just want to roll up a random maze and go through it and fight, like, go ahead.
Yeah. So would you try this game as, player and as a DM?
So I played it. You DM'd it. Mm-hmm. I think I would do both. I actually genuinely think that this game has grabbed me as the idea of a solo game. I think genuinely like a solo play by myself sort of on my lunch break game has like got my wheels kind of turning of how to do this.
Yeah. I have a couple of people at work who I will probably take this into work next week and see if they're, available for lunch break games.
Yeah. This is, I mean, it's fantastically well done. I think we talked a lot about the system, from what we've gathered from this quick start, but man, like, just overall, like, for a free product, top notch.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely top notch, super fun, has some puzzles in it, has some combat.
Yeah.
Like
The presentation is great.
yeah, like it was great, simple, black and white.
And it did its
Design.
job.
Yeah.
I did not prepare.
Yeah,
At
100%.
And we just played through the game. You know, we were upstairs at the dining room table, played through the whole thing with zero prep. So,
Right.
you know, as advertised.
Yeah, and what I like too is that, like you said, even with zero prep, it says 30 minutes. It took us 15, 20. Like,
Yeah.
it really doesn't take long to play. You know, if dice rolls don't go your way, maybe, but, like, you know, really, it's quick, it's fast, and it's got some fun meat. And I never felt like I was mad that it was like, oh, I have a D4 only. This
Yeah.
is going to be hard. Like, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, the wizard getting attacked. Like, he's not really strong. And so, like, he might take some damage. But yeah, it was all really well thought out. I think the whole idea of having to get you into a role playing game, and for specifically for Free RPG Day, being like, hey, if you're new to RPGs or looking to find a new one, here's this product to have you check out Mazes. Yeah, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, if you've played it or want to play it and want to leave a comment down below, please do. And we'll see you next time.
Y'all take care.
Bye.